Everyone has their own opinions of Mobile, Alabama, and if you've lived here long enough, you know that some of them can be a little bit spicy. So today I'm laying out the top 10 hot takes on living in Mobile, Alabama. We're talking everything from a downtown in total transformation, weather that just will not quit, and a culture that beats every other city in the deep south. If you're new here with us, my name's David. I make videos just like this one every single week about living in and moving to Mobile, Alabama. And I'm also a realtor down here, so I help people just like you every single day. All right, the first hot take I have is that Mobile is a lot more like New Orleans than Birmingham. A lot of people moving here to Mobile move within the state of Alabama, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know if this is because they don't want to go through the hassle of changing their license or learning a new culture, but the reality is the culture down here is much more like southern Louisiana than other parts in Alabama. There are multiple reasons for this, the first of which is historic. Mobile was founded in 1702 as the capital of French Louisiana. Even though the state of Mobile was not a part of the Louisiana Purchase, the city of Mobile was founded by the French, similar to New Orleans. Mardi Gras culture is shared between these cities partially for this reason. Now, New Orleans wasn't actually founded until 16 years later in 1718. Now, another similarity between these cities is their geographical location along the Gulf. If you talk to anyone in New Orleans, part of what makes their culture so distinct is that their city is practically underwater. Now, I actually recently went on a tour through New Orleans, and one of the claims my guide made was that people there have such big characters because there's this constant stress of being around and under this water all the time. There's a real joy, nature, and character in this as there is in Mardi Gras. This event makes these cities feel similar, but the waterfront feature of both of these cities make them feel almost identical. The final way these cities are similar stems from the historic elements that we already spoke about. There's a lot of French influence in the architecture scene in downtown Mobile, just like in New Orleans. If you're really familiar with New Orleans, during your visit in Mobile, you're probably gonna say something like this. Wow, I didn't know there was a more quaint, family-friendly version of New Orleans. At about a quarter of its size, we here in Mobile live a slightly smaller but just as eventful lifestyle as New Orleans does. The second hot take I have is about our beaches here in Mobile. Particularly that they are super nice compared to everywhere else, especially along the Eastern Shore. Ask any local in Mobile or Baldwin County and they will tell you their favorite beach spot, and they will not hesitate to tell you that yours is wrong. My wife swears that Orange Beach and Gulf Shores are entirely different, but to me they are the exact same. Now, if you're into surfing, there definitely are some major differences in a lot of spots along the Gulf Coast. However, if you're just looking to sit on the sand and swim in the water, you pretty much can't go wrong with any beach in southern Alabama. Dauphin Island has so many cool amenities, and it offers a much less tourist-filled environment for you. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach have unmatched sand quality and crystal clear waters. If you don't know the area very well, this could be another hot take for you, but if you live in Mobile, you don't really live on the beach. Every part of Mobile is different and has a different commute time, but generally you're looking about 45 minutes to an hour drive every time you go to the beach. Honestly, if it's summertime, it could be a little bit more. Most residents of Mobile love going to the beach, and it's a frequent visit for us in the Beasley household, but Mobile isn't really a beach town. The third hot take has to do with weather, specifically the rain in Mobile. Mobile is the rainiest city in the country. If you don't like rain, if you can't handle rain, don't even bother unpacking. Now, the longer you live in Mobile, really the more manageable I've seen this become. As you begin to get accustomed to the area, you recognize what spots of town tend to flood more and what your safest route is going to be home from work. It's also worth noting that we have very, very heavy rains, but they're not really entirely frequent. It's not raining all day, every day here in Mobile. Actually, statistically, we have an average amount of rainy days here. It's just that when it rains, it pours. It's very rare that we'll just get a little sprinkle. That being said, it's often that it'll dump rain in the morning and then be clear by the afternoon, which leads to stunning rainbows like you're seeing here. This is a real picture I took outside of my Walmart in Sims. My fourth hot take, and I know this is going to sting for a lot of you locals, is that if you live in Sims, Saraland, or some of the other cities outside of Mobile, you can still claim living in Mobile. It's heating up, I know. Now, West Mobile, downtown, and Midtown are kind of the three spots that are technically within city limits. Saraland, Sims, Theodore, those are all their own cities. If you live in these cities, you don't vote in Mobile's elections, rather you vote for your own cities. Now, some people in downtown and Midtown get a little territorial of even West Mobile, which is, again, part of the city limits. The argument typically goes something like this. Mobile culture is seen in the history and the architecture, which is only found in downtown and midtown. West Mobile has its own entirely different culture. Now, I understand this sentiment, I really do, because there are times where West Mobile feels like its own city. We see a lot less historic Victorian homes in this area, and West Mobile is growing so rapidly, as is the culture. Now, that being said, my view of it is that that's part of what makes Mobile so great. It's a rich cultural blend. We're not a city of just Mardi Gras, or just the beach, or just history, or just brand new developments. We're a melting pot of all of these incredible things and so much more. You know, this is kind of what's celebrated during Mardi Gras. Different organizations, schools, suburbs, peoples coming together and celebrating something massive, bigger than themselves, citywide. My view of it is that if you are part of city culture by coming to Mardi Gras, enjoying your Saturdays in downtown, you should absolutely claim Mobile as your home, even if you don't live in Mobile proper. My fifth hot take is that Mobile is in the midst of a massive comeback and we just don't realize it yet. Now, I've already made a couple different videos highlighting some new developments that will be a massive game changer from our city, including a brand new bridge that will transform travel and commerce, and an airport that will change us from regional to international. These projects will impact so many other things in our city. Again, people have a lot of opinions on these projects, and it's one of those things that it's really hard to please everybody. You can go look at the comments of some of my videos. There are so many ideas. That being said, I really trust our city's leadership. They're doing a great job to transform our city for the better. The I-10 bridge has been needing some tender loving care for a super long time, so I'm super excited that that's coming soon. On top of this, we're seeing other projects awaken the riverfront portions of our city, such as the Riverwalk Plaza. This is going to be a massive mixed-use development right along the water with restaurants, businesses, and so much more. As we begin to see some of these insane developments come to life, they're going to spark new businesses, new ideas, new residents as people learn about this incredible city. Now, my sixth hot take is about home price, and I'm about to pick on a lot of other cities in our country. Let's start with our good friends, New Orleans. Very similar culture, very similar home styles. Average home cost is $350,000. Here in Mobile, $196,000. Homes here in Mobile have not exploded in price like they have in almost every other part of the country. Now, they have gone up naturally, as almost everywhere has, but if you're looking to start somewhere, here in Mobile is an incredible place. The barrier to entry is super low. Let's look somewhere even closer than New Orleans. The average home price in Pensacola, Florida is $327,000. It's pretty simple. Mobile is the lowest priced coastal city you're likely to find anywhere. Denver, $575,000. New York, $870,000. San Francisco, $1.3 million. Dallas, $311,000. I'm telling you, I have not found a large city less expensive to live in than Mobile. When I talk to my clients who are moving down here to Mobile, this is almost the number one reason they cite. They see a super nice 5-bedroom house on Zillow and they think, wow, I can live there for the same price I'm living in my 2-bedroom shack in Florida. My seventh hot take is around traffic here in Mobile. Now, I'm typically very positive but honest about this city here on the channel. Honestly, there are very few things I would change about Mobile, Alabama. This is my place. I love this city like nowhere else. However, the roads, while not being super high traffic in Mobile, we're not bumper to bumper, people can be a little rude sometimes. I find that I'm most frequently getting cut off on Moffett Road, and the tensions get the most high on the intersection of Schillinger and Airport Boulevard. Southern hospitality is very much alive here in Mobile, Alabama, unless you're behind the wheel and in someone else's way. My eighth hot take is around Mardi Gras, and it's a big one, so strap in. That's that it is way better than New Orleans Mardi Gras if you're a local. People who put together Mardi Gras in Mobile care a lot, not only about this event, about the city as a whole. There are inside jokes, running gags, and things that you'll only understand if you've been keeping a pulse on what's going on within our city. For example, this year they tore down the old Civic Center, and from their floats, they were throwing bricks that read, "Property of Mobile Civic Center." Our Mardi Gras is more family friendly, less about getting wasted, and more about taking your kids and being a part of a multi-generational cultural celebration. It's a parade by the city, for the city. I think part of what makes our Mardi Gras so special is that we see less visitors. It's more about our city coming together to celebrate and not tens of thousands of visitors coming to party. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still parties, but that's just not what the whole thing is about here in Mobile. For our 9th hot take, we're talking food, and that is that Mobile has a criminally underrated seafood scene. Most people think of seafood in New Orleans and other tourist spots, but Mobile's port and marinas bring in so many fresh catches. We have 5 seafood markets, which is the most of any town or city in Mobile or Baldwin County. So the authentic seafood isn't just at restaurants, it can be at your dining room table. One of my favorite parts of living in Mobile, Alabama is that when the spring season comes along, it seems like every weekend you're invited to another crawfish boil. This is pure, messy, spicy, southern, coastal fun. The last hot take I have is less of a hot take and more of a proven fact that most people just haven't caught wind of yet. And that is that the suburbs and cities outside of Mobile are growing. A lot. People are moving out west and north, spreading the city more wide. Head out to Sims, Saraland, West Mobile, you'll see exactly what I'm saying here. These areas are all adding neighborhoods and businesses. Some of this is super healthy and great to see the growth. Other parts of it have kind of caused Mobile proper's real estate to struggle a little bit. Many people have opted to buy a brand new home in West Mobile rather than settling and updating a historic home in Midtown. This decision isn't necessarily harming the city, but it's causing the inventory in these central sections to become a little less sought after. Don't get me wrong, these homes will sell, just maybe not for as much if our city wouldn't have grown in this unique way. Another concern I have is for the schools and infrastructures that are growing in these areas. Rapid growth requires dramatic attention, and if an area doesn't have the system for that attention, it could have negative impacts. Mobile County schools have really been making strides to improve our public school system, but an ever-changing field can make this daunting task seem impossible. So there you have my 10 hot takes about living in Mobile, Alabama. These should definitely help you understand living in the area better. If you're a local, I want to hear your hot take. Lay it on me. Leave me a comment below. I want to hear your opinion on this. If you're looking to move to the area soon, you absolutely need to pick up my relocation guide. It'll tell you everything you need to know about moving to Mobile, Alabama, and it's totally free. All you gotta do is text the word guide followed by your first and last name to the number you see right here on screen. Text that same number if you're looking to buy or sell a home here in Mobile, and I will make sure you get the best service. I work stinking hard for my clients, and it's my joy to serve you. So make sure to reach out. Here's another video you can check out if you want to keep learning about living in Mobile, Alabama. I'll see you there, or I will see you in the next one.